Hi everyone, this is Ramanuj here. Thank you for joining me. You're live on YouTube as well. Superb. So who all are here with me today? Please introduce yourselves quickly. I'll also tell you about myself. I'm Ramanuj Mukherjee. I'm CEO at LawSikho. I have been a legal entrepreneur for a long time now, almost 10 years. And today we are going to talk about the opportunities that are arising, and if you want jobs in 2021, what kind of skills will be in high demand. There is a lot of discussions on how things are really bad in 2020, and it's true that 2020 was a difficult year for a lot of people, and even for those who are looking for jobs, it wasn't the easy year. In fact, very difficult. Fresh graduates have suffered a lot. Those who graduated in 2020, many of them still haven't got jobs, and getting clients also, people have really struggled with. People who have started their practice independently recently have struggled, and generally people who have been in practice for a long time, many of them also have struggled. And at the same time, many other people have done really well, grown multiple times in the last 1 year. I have friends, students, clients who have not grown a bit, but like grown multiple times in the last 1 year, because this is what happens when you face a hardship. You explore new opportunities, you explore new methods, you explore, you start questioning the fundamentals, and you can get amazing results. And I keep saying, and I wrote about this today as well, that if you have faced the pandemic, you have faced it well, then you are in a really good place, because you have built a certain kind of resilience, a certain kind of, you are immune to uh, upheavals like this, and you have a strong future ahead. So you're going to talk about 2021. The fact is that whenever there are some massive changes in the world, and in those times you have a big change in terms um, of opportunities. Okay, there are shifts in the economy, the demand and supply shifts, and new opportunities come up. So can you guys think of some opportunities that came up in 2020 that did not exist before? Can you write in the chat? Can you think of any opportunities that got created in 2020 that wasn't there before, and it happened because of the pandemic? Can you think of something like those things? What are those things? Online trade, sure. Fintech, legal tech, share market. Share market was there before. Online marketing, work from home. Very good. So let's get started with today's discussion. Here the heading say, what are the skills that can help me to get a job as a corporate lawyer in 2021? But this is pretty much relevant even for those who are looking to get clients, those who are looking to find opportunities to do startups. It applies to all of you. Okay. So it's not like it is only if you want to get a job as a corporate lawyer, this will apply. This would have a much larger application. Okay. So I want to know, is there anyone who have been looking for a job in 2020? Okay. AJ was looking for a job. Anybody else? Looking for clients. Vaibhav, very good. What else? Anybody else? None of you else. Okay. How many of you are going to be looking for a job in 2021 or looking for clients in 2021? Anybody here? Bijal, Nirvan, Vaibhav. Okay. So I request everyone who has joined to be a little more vocal. Speak up, write in the chat. Darian will be looking for internship. Great. So even if you're looking for an internship, this will be applicable. Okay. All the things we'll discuss will be applicable. 2020 was a difficult year for finding jobs, and for some people, even finding clients was difficult. However, remember that the best opportunities are forged during tough times. When you face difficulty, you become better at handling difficulty, and then you improve things to survive. Your efficiency improves. I want to give you an example. How many of you believe that companies which were born online, so there were companies which were offline, and then the internet came, and in the last 10-20 years there were some companies which were born online, so they were more efficient by nature. For example, Flipkart, okay, or Airbnb or Amazon, right? They beat much larger businesses, much larger offline businesses, and they became successful in the world. Why did that happen? Because they were more efficient by nature, because they were born online, right? And they defeated giant offline companies. How many of you have realized that has happened? Sharad is looking for PPO. Great. Sharad, are you doing your assignments? Are you attending classes? How is your course going? Okay. Good to see you, Sharad. So though that was the case, now there are companies which are being born on the internet, not only on the internet, in the remote work culture. Okay. So there is a remote work culture that has come up, and this is by nature much more efficient. Even in LawSikho, we realized that how much more efficient this is, and we fully went into remote work. Okay, there is almost minimal to zero amount of physical work today. We have gone offline. Sorry, we have gone online, remote completely, and it is a huge advantage. There are many advantages of such companies. So that's just an example, right? The companies that are growing in this age and who are adapting to this new changes, who have embraced. Do you see that there are two kinds of people? There are some people who are waiting for things to be back to normal, and there are some people who are excited about new things that are happening. Have you noticed that? Do you know people who are just waiting and they're saying, yeah, things will be back to normal as it used to be before? Do you know such people? Yes, no, maybe. Yeah. Think of those people. They have been thinking of this for the last 10 months, that, oh, it's okay, things will be back to normal, it can't change, right? It can't change so much. But it has been more than a year, I think almost a year. The pandemic started, and even now we don't know when things will end and if things will ever go back to the way they used to be, right? Now, how many of you initially resisted to adapt to this reality? You said that, oh, things will be back to normal later on. Let's just manage to survive for the next few months and things will be back to normal. Did you say that? Were you waiting for that at some point? Okay. There's so many of you in this session. Why don't you speak up? Come on. For the first few weeks, yes, there's nothing wrong with being with resisting it. This is normal human reaction. Yeah. But it is better if we realize that the changes are here to stay, and then we adapt to the new reality. Okay. So this means that you have to find opportunities that have arisen now due to the rapidly changing situations. Things have really changed, and because things are changing, opportunities are getting created, right? So we have to look for the opportunities that are getting created by the changed situation. My voice is not clear, guys. Can you guys hear me clearly? Yes, right? Yes, if you can hear me, or unclear if not. Okay. Okay, seems I'm audible. So opportunities have arisen now due to the rapidly changing situations, right? Where are those opportunities, right? And just think of it. This is what I believe in, that you are a generation forged by difficulties of the pandemic. Okay. If you look at the generations that faced Second World War, they were the greatest generations. They were the richest generation. They went on to build the biggest companies in the world. They went on to change the world. People who faced Second World War, they faced terrible problems, terrible war. There's nothing good about facing the world war, right? Terrible difficulties and situations. But those companies which which actually helped US to win the world war, the people who fought the war, people who build the supply chains for the world, they are the one who build the world we live in today. Okay. And this means you will also emerge stronger than previous generations because you have faced this much difficulty right in the beginning of your career. Your mindset is shaped by the difficulties you have faced right in the beginning of your career, right? And this shift is forcing you. Okay, there's some changes that have happened because you are being forced to innovate. How many of you are being forced to innovate? Do you feel like that you need to find out new ways to do things? You need to do new things so that, because things that used to work did not work for you, now you're ready for change, you're ready to try new things, you're ready to take a little more risk. You feel like that, right? Because what is there to lose? Correct? Yes, no, maybe. Are you being forced to innovate? Are you being forced to think outside the box? Are you being forced to think outside the box? So what has changed? So let us look at it. It is great that we are willing for change, and this is a generation that is willing to change, that is willing to try new things, that is willing to do things in a way it never has been done, and the world is more accepting towards this change, right? And there was a time when only experienced mattered, right? You are a more experienced person, you get more salary. But now there is a situation where this is more in demand than ever, that somebody is thinking how to make things work, somebody is thinking how to make things work and bring changes and adapt. So what has changed, right? So these are the biggest trends you should capitalize on. Number one, remote work. Do you understand the revolutionary concept that remote work is? It means that being in India, you can remotely work. So for an example, at LawSikho, we have people working from small cities in Kerala, in Jaipur, in Indore, in Dehradun. Like, people are working from small cities and they are working with us, right? Now imagine, this was never possible. Even we were a remote friendly company even before. We had a lot of people working remotely, but more than ever now we are open to hiring. We have almost fully gone remotely hiring, and this has happened even at a national level. All companies are hiring remotely. People who used to live in Bombay, Delhi are moving back from Bangalore. They are moving back to their hometown and working the same job from their hometown. Do you know such situations around you? Have you seen that? If this is possible, then you realize that remote work is not only limited to the country. Indian techies are now directly working remote work jobs in USA, UK, Europe. Similarly, there are opportunities for even Indian lawyers to do foreign paralegal work and foreign legal work. And we have shared about this before. But remote work is definitely a massive trend because all our cities are organized around people physically working from offices, right? Entire cities were built, entire satellite cities were built so that people who are working in office can live there, right? And there is a completely change of that. It's incredible. It's like a reset on civilization. The way we used to imagine city-based civilizations, that is changing, that people can do remote work from anywhere in the world. Wow, that changes everything. That changes real estate for that matter. Freedom to move due to work from home, right? So literally I have been, because I could not travel. I am a busy entrepreneur trying to grow a company. I was not ever able to travel. For years I have not traveled. But in the last 1 year, like since the pandemic started and travel relaxations got relaxed, right? Travel restrictions got relaxed. So I was able to travel to Goa. I lived in Goa for a month. I lived in Calcutta with my family for a month. I lived in a small town called Shantiniketan for 15 days. And all the while running the company, all the while the company was growing. And I am going to, again, I'm in January and I'm planning to go live in some Himalayan towns. In February, I'm going to go to Goa again. And it is possible. Now there is freedom to move. And this has created a new generation of people. They are called digital nomads. Have you heard of digital nomads? Right? Digital nomads used to exist before the pandemic, but now it is becoming mainstream. More people want to be digital nomads, and it's possible to do it, that you are working from anywhere in the world. And when the travel restrictions open, I will be even traveling to other countries Okay, you don't know about digital nomads, please Google digital nomads and read about this. Okay, so there are lawyers who are digital nomads. There are lawyers who are doing their litigation practice and still being a digital nomad, and this is all becoming possible. It was impossible before, but now all of this is possible. Online businesses and e-commerce. Okay, this is definitely a game changer, because till now in India, businesses wanted to be offline. Imagine, like, local, somebody is selling juice, or somebody is selling tea, somebody is running a grocery, and they might be earning, even as much as 50,000, 1 lakh per day. Okay, a small business like that in India can earn 50,000, 1 lakh per day. Okay, do you know about chai walas who earn 1 lakh per day? There are such people. But there was a huge incentive for people to keep it quiet, to not pay taxes, they never registered their business. They never, they would never register a company. They will never register IP. They will not do any compliances. And India's massive amount of economy, which employs 80% of India's population, are all informal businesses. And there was no 𝗵𝗲𝗃𝗃, sure. So all of them had no intention of formalizing their businesses, because incentive of running an informal business was that you don't have to pay whatever 20-30% taxes that you pay otherwise on your income. Not only income tax, GST, everything, all of that. So few things started changing. One is that GST became very strict and all of that. But now, after the pandemic, people realized that this is not a feasible way to do business. Being online is a good idea, right? So Dukan Take is seeing a massive rise in India. There is technology that even small shops are taking orders on WhatsApp and delivering online. Like, what they're taking order on WhatsApp and home delivering. The point is that now there is record of all the transactions, more and more. They are accepting online payments. People who refused to take offline payments earlier, they wanted to deal only in cash. Suddenly they have started accepting online payments because they're afraid that they might, through the cash, some virus may transfer and so on. But as of now, there is a clear, and even people are saying that you have to be online. This is one problem that happened today. Who knows what will happen next, right? So people have realized that there is advantage of being online. Not only that, the few businesses that have adopted the online model. So I'll give you an example. Inventory management. Imagine a grocery. You may think a grocery, usko kya farak padta hai, software kyun chahiye grocery wale ko, right? He just keeps things and sells it from the shop. And okay, people will come and buy it, or maybe he'll have 2-3 boys go and deliver it to people's house. Why does he need software? Okay, now it has turned out that a small business which has inventory management software will likely make more money. You know why? Because they can keep track of inventory much better. Otherwise, the guy is keeping everything in his head or on a notepad. But when there is a software which is telling him that this thing is going to run out of stock, you need to buy this and stock it ahead of time, it is a competitive advantage. Businesses which use software will win, and the businesses which refuse to use software will die. This is the future, right? And this was already happening for a while. But after the pandemic, everyone has just gone online. Everyone has realized this truth. People who are refusing to accept it, they just had to accept. I'll give you an example. There was a lawyer once I met in a conference, and he's a famous arbitration lawyer. So I had an opportunity. So I asked him, sir, what do you think of online arbitration? This is back in 2013, 14, 15, maybe, not more than that. Okay. And he's like, online arbitration, what nonsense is this? This is not possible. How will cross-examination happen online? We cannot do online arbitration. This is not possible. I said, but there is something called ICANN, international, registration of domain names. ICANN does online dispute resolution. Why can't we do it for some things in India? And he shouted at me, the joke or what, online arbitration. Same lawyer is now, sitting in Shimla, sitting in Mukteshwar, doing online arguments before courts every day, right? And has, one day I saw he has posted a picture on LinkedIn while he's reading, oh, proud to do this online hearing, this, that. Okay. So everyone who are like such staunchly opposing software, staunchly opposing internet, because maybe they are not comfortable, suddenly they are all going online, and they are seeing going online as progress, going online as the only way to survive. So the whole focus on staying under the radar, staying outside the taxation system, that is gone. And you know who should be happy this is happening? Who are the 2-3 biggest beneficiaries in the society when businesses go from informal to formal? One, tax increases for the government, sure, but who else? I don't know about the consumer. The first beneficiaries are lawyers, chartered accountants, company secretaries. You know why? Because all these businesses, which are fairly large, they never did any compliance. They never even registered a company. They did nothing. Okay, no accounting, nothing. Suddenly they are all formal. So imagine if you're offline business, everyone can be Agarwal sweet shop. In every locality, there's one Agarwal sweet shop, Sharma sweet shop. But you cannot do that if you're online. There can be only one name in one business, right? If everyone is Agarwal sweet shop, you're online, nobody will know which one they are buying from. Suddenly you need IP. Suddenly you need to register that IP. You see the game-changing nature of online businesses, right? And how there will be so much more work for lawyers and CAs going forward. Complete digital disruption of everything we know. So if you knew everything, where people did not work, online, they were saying, no, we can't use computer, we don't need software, we are fine here. Everything completely got disrupted. Everything, everywhere, people are using software. In a lot of things, we did not use software. Okay, at LawSikho, we are a tech company. We also did not use software in some places, but now we are forced to use, because you have to do it that way. Software as a service, as a result of this, software as a service has grown like anything. Do you guys have you heard of this term, SaaS, software as a service? Do you know what this is? Yeah. Okay. Why is everyone so quiet today? Software as a service. Okay, Zoom is a software as a service. Microsoft Words is a software as a service. So there are softwares. Earlier you could buy one off, just buy the software. But no, they are renting out the software. You pay every month. Okay, that is software as a service. And software as a service has really grown like anything. Okay, no matter which business, what profession, that's correct, Kanika, you have to use software as a service now. This was not the case before, but everyone is using it now. Focus on health and wellness, right? You can see a renewed interest at individual level, at an organization level. People are taking interest in health and wellness because people see it as a risk like never before, right? More international focus for Indian businesses. A lot of Indian businesses have realized that just to operate in one market is not good enough. It is a huge risk. They need to internationalize themselves, because different markets have responded differently. Like some things have really gone bad, some things have done very well, correct? So there is a huge headache over this, that which, if you're operating in only one geography, in only one small place, in only one economy even, it is a big risk. You need to de-risk by operating in multiple places. So Indian companies are like anything trying to expand into Middle East, in other countries, in first world countries. Home upgrades and staycations. Okay, so something very interesting that happened is that one example that happened is that automobile sales really jumped up. Why? Because people do not want to use public transport. People who used to use public transport before started buying their own cars. Okay, people started buying cars from their other family members, so the car sales increased. Not only that, people are buying larger homes now, because if everybody is going to stay home and work, if earlier a family could live in 1 BHK, suddenly it is not possible anymore. They are being forced to buy a larger house or rent a larger house or upgrade their homes. And staycations, obviously, like, going to a different place where things are cheaper and living there. In US, people are seeing tax migration. People are moving from high tax places like California to low tax places like Texas, Arizona. Why? Because they don't want to pay so much taxes. If they can work from anywhere, why should they stay in places like New York and California where tax is very high? Upgrading healthcare infrastructure. Okay, So government is spending a lot of money on healthcare infrastructure, forced to do so. It's a political priority right now. No government can not invest in healthcare infrastructure. If they do not do it, it is a very bad public situation. Like, they will lose elections. So they are massively investing in healthcare infrastructure across the world. So spending has gone up on healthcare. There are other industries like edtech, telemedicine, online entertainment, and other industries that surged on the back of pandemic. Okay, can you think of more such industries which have, because of the pandemic, not suffered but grown bigger? Sanitizer and mask. Sure. Anything else? FMCG has grown. Why? Why FMCG has grown? Anything else? Everyone started preparing disinfectants. Okay. What else? You guys can't think of any other industry that has grown on the back of pandemic? Airtel Extreme. Okay. So things are more formal now. Individuals and businesses have a digital identity. Everyone has created digital identities for their business. Paying taxes have more compliance requirements than never before. As lawyers, we'll all be excited about legal tech. Legal tech has also really taken off because people are looking for softwares which will make it possible for them to operate from home, operate in a decentralized fashion. That means that they are also open to lot more technology, lot more software. They're ready to learn even. Okay. Digital resolution of disputes. This is also a huge thing that is happening. We are seeing that dispute resolution is becoming online, and there is an expectation that this will increase the size of the market like never before. Right? Yeah, going back to roots, yoga and meditation, this kind of wellness, all kind of wellness things have done very well. Okay, including mental health. Mental health has become highly focused area simply because people's mental health took a toll during the pandemic, and then there is a resurgence. People are focusing on mental health like never before. Now, change in mindset. Okay, this is just the industries we discussed. Where this is the first order. Okay, one level of change we can see. First level. Now we are going to see in the second level changes across, and all of these have opportunities hidden for you. Okay, we are going to talk about exactly what opportunities. First of all, businesses are looking for steady hands and proven soldiers. They do not have an appetite for greenhorns. So if you come and say, I don't know anything, but you hire me and then show me how to do the work, that used to work in certain markets. That especially worked in a market where their supply for talent was high and demand was low. Why? Because that was a market in which economy was growing. So companies were hungry for hiring new people, right? That gadget demand has increased. Very good observation. That has completely changed. Do you agree that has changed? That where in the market people were saying, okay, you come here, we'll hire you and give you on the job training. Now they are like, no, we want to hire trained people already. We don't have time for all this right now. Firstly, the economy has shrunk. There is a excess supply of talent, right? It is not a seller's market as far as jobs are concerned. It's a buyer's market. Okay, and there was a big recession. So businesses need steady hands and proven soldiers. So it has become more important that when you are looking for jobs, you create your track record before you go and say that I hire me, right? More open to innovation and ideas that cut costs. So businesses today are very much open to taking up innovation. Earlier they used to resist innovation. Not every organization, oh, you are very innovative, come do it for us. No, quite the contrary. They wouldn't listen to it, right? But today that is very different. We are more open to innovation. Every business in the world is more open to innovation and ideas, especially if it will cut costs. If it is going to increase costs, they might say no to it. But if you can show them something that will cut costs, they are very happy to adopt that, right? Less tolerance for corporate excess, right? So earlier corporates would have a lot of profits. They could spend the money in whichever way, but that is not okay. Like, earlier they might have spent a lot of money on lawyers just as a corporate excess, like, through inefficient processes. But that is not happening anymore. They want to cut excess. CSR, if if it is a mandatory thing, they'll do it. Otherwise, I don't think people are volunteering to spend money on CSR right now. More open to smaller service providers that are efficient and charge less. This is good news for all the smaller law firms, right? That they are more open to innovation and ideas that cut costs, and more open to smaller service providers that are efficient and charge less. Less litigation and lower legal bills. Overall, everybody is looking to cut their legal bills, right? Nobody is saying that this year let us increase our legal bills by 10%. No, right? That's not their interest. They don't want to start litigation. They're postponing decision for litigation. Even they know this litigation we must do, they are still postponing it. This is a hard fact, right? However, more cautious about contracts and legal rights, cannot afford more debacles. And on critical litigation, they are still spending a lot of money, but only on the critical ones. They are more cautious about contracts and legal rights, cannot afford more debacles. They don't want to leave anything to chances. And the number of people entering into contracts have really gone up. Have you noticed, there are some lawyers here, have you noticed that people who never bothered about contracts are suddenly entering into contracts because they have had bad experiences during the pandemic, and they have realized that entering into contracts is very, very necessary. Laptops have become very expensive because of higher demand for laptops. That's true. Okay. There is only a limited ability to produce a certain number of laptops, mobile phones in a year, and companies are running out of stock because so many people who never used it are being forced to buy them. Lots of new compliance challenges as they move to work from home. So businesses are moving to work from home, moving from their usual operating styles, and that is creating a lot of compliance challenges. 100%, right? Innovation and scale are driving business growth, right? Businesses are still growing, but people are looking for innovation and they're looking for scaling. How can we scale our business further? And people have realized that you can build an audience. Building an audience was there before, but building an audience has become really mainstream. How is scale driving business growth? So, for example, it is easier for you to scale because if you're online, if you're online, then you can do online marketing, online business development, which is much faster and much more scalable than a local level business. So instead of thinking local, people are thinking global. So they are looking at scale that way, right? Building an audience used to be there even before, but now it is mainstream. People have realized that having a business is very critical. Having a audience is very critical to your business, very critical to your profession. So you can see during the pandemic, so many people have come up and become influencers. They are writing regularly, creating content, building websites. You can see there's a massive explosion of online content, right? It is because people have realized building an audience is very profitable. It was there before also, it was still profitable, but now there is wider recognition of it. Even companies are trying to build their own media, their own blog, their content, all of that. Yeah, but Netflix is a media business. I'm talking about every business wants to now have their own media, right? Even you're a manufacturing company, even if you're a retail company, you're building your blog, you're building your Instagram page, you're creating content there because you realize that it is important to have your own fan following, your own audience where you can spread your message, right? And this is a big change. It was known, experts were talking about this even before, but now it has happened in a significant way. If your clients and employers were not online earlier, it is possible that there are some people whose clients and employers were not only online earlier, but now they are certainly online, right? Things have changed. Most of these, okay, I missed one slide. Damn. Okay, India is going to bring 50 crore more people online, right? Today we had around 70 crore people online, and it is expected in the next 5 years 50 crore new users will join the internet. Okay, and it is crazy. In 5 years, 50 crore new internet users. Already many people have joined in the last 5 years. 5 more years, it's massive. It's a huge market. So it's going to be unprecedented scale, unprecedented opportunities. Okay, never ever in the world this has happened before, right? most of these people will not know English and they will need a whole lot of services. And because of that, you will see that businesses will gear up to cater to these people in local languages. So this is going to be very interesting in the coming years. Okay, shopfront. Earlier, real estate was very expensive. That real estate was about having shops and malls and all of that. Now you will see a bigger shift towards digital shopfronts, right? You still need a shopfront where people will discover you, where your clients will discover you, where your users will discover you. But all the real estate is digital, and digital is content, right? So like that's what we were talking about, how every brand is building their own audience. And now this is becoming important, right? Digital shopfronts. We have to go where our clients are. So we have to keep tracking where our clients are going, where they are. We should take online English classes as a way to earn money. I'm not suggesting that, but sounds like an idea. I don't know. I haven't explored that idea. But yeah, more people are going to, I mean, why just teach English? Teaching English definitely one important thing. I don't know what businesses are coming around that, but just think about it. What does clients need? The people, imagine there are people who don't know English, or they are not comfortable with English, and they are also going to get married. They are going to have divorces. They are going to start businesses. They will need services from lawyers. So how do you reach out to them in their language? Because in English still there is a lot of blogs, a lot of YouTube, whatever, blah blah. YouTube has a very strong Hindi base, right? But that's going to increase even further, and especially in local languages. If Hindi is still there, other local languages, Bengali, Gujarati, Marathi, there is not enough content today. So that will be very interesting. Okay, we have to see what our clients need and we have to cater to them accordingly. That is the solution really. Okay, so these are the things that will change or that have changed. What will not change, right? This is also very important to note. Law of demand and supply will not change, right? Where there is, you have to look for opportunities where demand is high and supply is low, and those are the things you need to focus on, right? That is where you will get your best success, right? So you have to keep an eye for what are the things where demand is high and supply is low, and where demand is growing too fast and supply is not growing fast enough to catch up, right? So this is very important. The benefits of building a track record, this has gone up and is not going to change. Build a track record. You need to develop an ability to showcase your track record. This is why you will see that lawyers whose success is measurable, whose success is obvious, they succeed in a big way. They get a lot of fees, they get the best clients. And those lawyers who are unable to build a track record, or even if they have a track record, they're unable to showcase it somehow, they will not succeed as much. So how can you showcase your track record, which is where your digital presence become very important, right? Do you have a strong digital presence? So if you are in 2020, you're graduating now, you're a law student, you're already a lawyer, I don't care. If you are not seriously building your digital presence, then you are not preparing for the future. Okay. You have to get in front of people. Okay, you might have great skills, great abilities. That's not enough. Contrary to certain myth that is there in our legal profession, that if you're a great lawyer, people will come to you automatically. It doesn't work like that. The need to get in front of people is more than ever, right? And earlier, people used to think if I go sit in the court, somebody will find me and give me work. That also is not possible anymore, which means you have to be visible digitally, right? The need to get in front of people, jo dikhta hai wahi bikta hai, right? So you have to think, what does this mean for you personally? You can't advertise, you can't solicit, but what can you do to be more visible? If you want to succeed as a corporate lawyer, what will be the top skills in most demand? So I wanted to share that also with you. One obvious area is technology law, right? So technology law is really growing and it's going to grow even further, right? Anybody has a doubt about this, right? So technology law is going to grow in a big way. So what are the skills within technology law which are very, very relevant? Tech contracts is going to be very, very relevant. Digital privacy is a big issue, is going to be very relevant. Skills related to digital privacy and law will be in high demand. GDPR and PDPA. GDPR is General Data Protection Rules. PDPA, Personal Data Protection Act. In India, we'll have the Personal Data Protection Act, which will get, which will come into play. And there is already massive work related to GDPR that you can do in India and abroad. And definitely, personal data protection law will be a game changer. People are already gearing up to comply to this, and it will be very interesting. Cyber security and cyber crimes at an all-time high. Remember all those 50 crore people coming online, right? That will also be crazy because they don't know how to use the internet, and there will be enough people trying to take advantage of them on the online world. And we, India, have, this is one area where there is huge demand and no supply. If you are a victim of a phishing scam, how do you recover your money? If you're a victim of sextortion online or anything, or any of the online crimes, how do you redress it? There is nothing. And it is shameful that none of us have built any viable solution, right, for people to get redressal. Okay, and I hope in the next 1 or 2 years, 3 years, we'll see Indian lawyers building good services, not just traditional law firms, but good services to address cyber security and cyber crimes that are happening here. Fintech regulations, definitely fintech is booming. Fintech is growing like anything, and there would be amazing opportunity for people who master fintech regulations. Online and cross-border IPR enforcement, this is huge because now IPR is becoming relevant cross-border. Okay, earlier we have seen this happening for the last 10 years for limited, say Bollywood movies is not only that you want to protect IPR of Bollywood in India. Okay, you might make a lot of money from China from Bollywood movies, or from, for that matter, from Pakistan or Bangladesh or from New York or America, Canada, wherever, right? So cross-border IPR enforcement is top-notch priority today, and not only for large movie houses or so. Even if you are a online content creator, you don't want your content to be copied by somebody else from a different country. And online and cross-border IPR enforcement will be the highlight in the coming years for IP lawyers. Online defamation, already this is going on in a major way. On one hand, people claim they have a right to criticize companies, they have a right to, and you can see like major cases are happening going on in the courts now over online defamation. And this will only grow from here. And even like competitors writing bad things about each other, because online world is such a world where you just have to go and say something bad. I can say that whatever 𝗪𝗶𝗶 is something horrible, right? Doesn't matter, some horrible accusation. 𝗪𝗶𝗶 is such a horrible person, and he has done this, I have seen him doing blah blah blah, and then 10,000 people will like it, share it, and it will just start a whole this thing, right? So this happens all the time, and it's growing. Somebody can take a clip of your, even imagine like people are in classroom, children are in classroom, somebody can take a video clip, take it out of context, something a teacher said, take it out of context, and then circulate and cause defamation. So this will definitely be a huge area for lawyers. Cyberbullying, absolutely. E-commerce regulations, this is going to be huge. E-commerce regulations is because there is such a growth in e-commerce, there is regulating it also is a huge challenge. There are not too many revenge porn, correct? Not too many experts on e-commerce regulations in India, another area which has huge demand and very low supply. Earlier, there are only few e-commerce companies, few large e-commerce companies, right? Today, there are thousands and thousands of e-commerce companies. Just go and see, right? E-commerce companies are not restricted to Amazon, Snapdeal, and Flipkart. That time is gone. For every small thing, there's a different e-commerce company which is small, maybe doing a turnover of 1 crore, 2 crore, 10 crore. Nykaa is still huge, right? But I mean, I was just seeing this company doing more than a couple of crores a month turnover, just selling keto food online. Okay. And there are many such players. Okay. In the keto food market alone, there are multiple players. One company doing 2 crores per month. It's incredible the way it's growing. Local shops have gone online. Anybody who has some unique product going online and selling it. and this will continue to grow. We have seen nothing. This is going to be 100 times bigger than it is today. Cross-border contract enforcement and arbitration. This has become important because there is more money in cross-border uh, business. People have realized that doing business only within a small, they're missing out on opportunities. They need to be cross-border business, and people are increasingly, Indian businesses are going international increasingly. So cross-border contract enforcement and arbitration is a huge area of focus because of arbitrage. Correct. Okay. Technology licensing. This is going to be huge. Technology licensing, because people are building technology and it needs to be licensed out, and there are a lot of licensing contracts being signed. One app was for booking playgrounds and stadiums and swimming pools, and not one, there are multiple such apps, right? Platform and intermediary liability. Okay. So platform and intermediary liability, because people claim that I am a platform. If somebody has posted something here, I'm not liable, right? So if somebody writes something defamatory on Facebook, Facebook is not liable as long as they are taking it down quickly enough. So if I complain to Facebook that somebody posted something defamatory, Facebook acts on it, then it's fine. Otherwise, if they don't act on it, Facebook will also become liable if I sue Facebook, right? Insta, Facebook, whatever, like you can imagine, Twitter, whatever, like there are hundreds of such websites today, and platform and intermediary liability has become super important. Investment practice is saying Salman Khan is a bad man since he killed innocent people. Online defamation, I would say yes, because it's not proven. And if you go and say it, if he files a defamation case against it, you'll have to fight it. You'll have to go to the court, right? And you will not be able to prove it that he has done it. You have no proof, right? So if you have proof and you can back it up, this claim, then surely you can write, and then if you're sued in the court, you go and prove it. Otherwise, it would amount to defamation, right? That's what law says. Investment practice, VC and PE, right? This is growing like anything, because all this new technology, all this new e-commerce business, whenever they are becoming successful, they are going and raising venture capital, private equity money, right? VC is venture capital, PE is private equity. So VC and PE money, this is going to be even bigger in the coming years. Okay, it's going to explode. It is exploding already. Despite the pandemic, despite economic downturn, VC and PE has grown and will continue to grow, because disruption grows in the world, VC and PE grows. Okay, because capital is needed to support that disruption. Merger and acquisitions, both reasons. One is that companies are not doing well, then they might become available for buying for cheap. Okay, as long as they have some valuable assets. And then there are other companies which are bargain hunting in the market. They have a lot of cash. They want to buy up as many companies for cheap as possible. So M&A is increasing a lot, has increased a lot. Distressed asset restructuring. This is also a very interesting area of work, because assets which are distressed need some kind of rescuing, needs investment, needs a loan or whatever. Restructuring is done for all of those. So this also has become very interesting area of work. Banking and finance, for obvious reasons, because you need loans. One is recovery of loans. A lot of loans are going bad and you need to recover that. For that, you need to take help of lawyers. So that this work is going to increase. Till February, there's a moratorium in place on NCLT proceedings, on insolvency and bankruptcy proceedings by the government. But once that is withdrawn, floodgates will open. There will be so many matters. It will be incredible for recovery of loans. So that's going to be one very interesting area of work. IPOs are growing. A lot of companies which are not doing IPO before, after withstanding this pandemic, they need more cash and they're doing IPO. A good example is Airbnb. They could have done an IPO 10 years back, but they did not do it. They waited to grow very big. And they finally did an IPO now. And they made a lot of money from their IPO. People became very rich, but that IPO was postponed. But after pandemic, they were hit hard and they were forced to do a big IPO. And there are many other such examples, right? Contract drafting, because a lot of people, especially in India, were fond of doing business without contracts. They said, oh, we do business with our friends, with our family. We don't need any contracts. Our word is good enough and so on. People did business like that. Do you know people like that who did business without contracts earlier? Do you know? Yes, no, maybe. Yes, you knew such people. Okay, all those people who actually did business in writing, in contracts, only they got their money back, and the people who had contracts got their money back earlier because they threatened to sue, and the people who did not have contracts still have not got their money in most cases. Correct? So people who used to do business like that to save taxes, by the way, have been hit the worst. Okay, all the tax they have saved, they have already lost. Okay, so now another thing I had said about being more formal, this is one more reason, but people are now becoming more fond of contracts because they realized without contracts they have no guarantee. They have just had a bad experience. Once your house, nobody takes a fire insurance, but anybody who has their house on fire, immediately next thing they do is they go and buy fire insurance for the next house. Okay, so it's like that now. All the people who did not actually do contracts have burned their hands. They're all looking for lawyers to do contract drafting. So contract drafting is going to increase in demand like anything in the years and months and years to come. Compliances. 𝘁𝗵 compliance, of course, 𝘁𝗵 compliance also, but they are already compliant. You realize AMCs were already compliant to the laws, right? If you are operating under 𝘁𝗵, then you are a formal business, you are not informal business. So that will continue as usual, but compliance is increasing for people who never did compliance before. AMC, asset management company. So compliance is basically increasing for people who avoided compliance for 100 years. Now all those businesses are coming into the catchment area of compliances and formal businesses. Okay, which is a historical change. Okay, it is shocking that our media doesn't talk about it, our people, nobody realizes perhaps, but that is the thing. Most such opportunities are quiet revolution. Quietly it will happen, and then 10 years later somebody write a paper about it. But if you're smart today, you will see this opportunity and make sure that you're benefiting from this opportunity. Okay, emerging, a lot of questions are coming. I can't answer everything right now. Let's proceed with today's discussion. Emerging industries, compliances and government policy. Okay, so a lot of emerging industries are there: edutech, telemedicine, and compliances and government policies also still shaping in these areas. New government policies will come up in the future. So lawyers who specialize in compliances for these kind, like drone regulations, someone was saying. So all the emerging industries, you need lawyers who can specialize in this kind of compliances and government policy. How to import, export drones from India. That's a major area of work, by the way. Okay. Startup focused law practice. Okay. So people, because startups are happening in a large way, so you have to focus on, a lot of people are focusing on startup focused law practice. Those will do very well. Why are drones important all of a sudden? Drones have not become important all of a sudden. It was slowly growing. Just imagine every photographer needs a drone today to be in the business. If you don't have a drone, you can't be in business if you're a photographer, right? Venture capital, I don't mean venture capital. Venture capital is a VC law practice where you are doing deals. Startup focused law practice is that you are helping startups to do compliance, to enter into contracts, to run their regular business, right? Startups need a lot of legal services. It's not just venture capital work. Venture capital work is one, like a startup needs a venture capital service from a law firm. I mean, what? Maybe twice, thrice in their career if they're very successful. But they need a startup lawyer day in and day out. Okay? For every kind of contract, for every daily work that they have, every compliance, everything. One drone shot costs minimum 10,000 rupees. You can buy a good drone for yourself for 15,000 rupees. Go and check. It's available on Amazon. I was thinking of gifting it to someone. Didn't end up buying it. Okay, but Literally lakhs of drones are being sold every day, and all of that requires compliance work for importing, exporting, operation, everything. Small e-commerce business focused practice, right? There is so many small businesses which are going on e-commerce. So law practices which focus on them, very similar to startup focused law practice would be there. Supply chain contracts. This is huge because entirely new supply chains are being formed, and those supply chains require a lot of contracts. Even the farmer, the law that has been passed for this, basically a supply chain related law. An entire new supply chain has to be created, and for that supply chain to be created, you need a whole lot of contracts, and that kind of work will also increase. Agri-tech startups, because of these recent reforms, there'll be massive investment, farming contracts, and all sorts of work related to agri-tech startup. This is a very much growing area. FDI will grow in India, very much expected. Foreign direct investment to go up. So these are some of the areas in which I see a lot of opportunities. Okay. Next slide is basically some formality slides are here. I'm going to quickly share with you. Do you guys want to keep in touch with me? Do you have further questions? You can ask me here. But even if you want to ask me some questions later on, I'll be available. Okay. So how many of you are connected with me on Twitter? Yes, no?